Hey, this is Marlon here. Been on a little bit of a break. These little medical breaks I have to take, unfortunately, it kills the momentum. And the older I get, the more I realize how important momentum is. It's like riding a bike. Faster you go, the easier it is to stay upright. I am about to edit or give a light rewrite to a script written by someone who will remain nameless for now. And we're just going to look at the opening scene, actually, not even that long. And consider we're not going to try to make it into a final masterpiece, but we are going to look at some areas where we can improve the experience, the impression. And again, when you're writing a screenplay, one of the most important things is the initial impression you make on the reader, because nobody wants to read anything, especially nowadays. People don't like to read. I myself, when I started reading scripts in Hollywood for several different production companies, but when you're like an intern, or when you're an intern, or you're just getting out of college, that's often one of the first jobs, or used to be anyway. Nowadays, they got people who get into those jobs and just stay there. I mean, they've always had people who stayed in those jobs, but nowadays there's quite a few people. But it's a good entry level type of position, because you learn or unglamorous parts of storytelling, because reading a script it's not fun, especially when most screenplays are like 120 pages for a 2-hour movie, 120 pages or less. But you start off on page 1 and you're not feeling it, and you have 120, 119 more pages to go, and your boss is like expecting you to give a report, and it's just not. It's not a glamorous position. It was. After doing that for a little while, you realize why nobody likes to read or wants to read any kind of screenplay. Of course, today most people cheat. They use AI to read everything, and it can do it so fast. If I were a reader at this point and they had AI available, because when I first started, it was like 94, 95, no AI. So you had to find a way to cheat and read. A couple pages here, a couple pages in the middle, and you hope the person writing it is halfway decent, so that the right things are happening in the story at the right time, so you could go to page like 30 and hopefully the story has progressed to the second act or started the second act. But if people don't even do that, it was just a slog. And then I also read for a competition that was interesting too. But my point about reading is, screenplay reading scripts is supposed to be, it used to be, I should say, a technical document. So it's not really for pleasure, but now they reversed it. And the emphasis is more on the reader's pleasure, which is why, in my opinion, the movies themselves are not as good. Because imagine someone gave you a blueprint to build a building or a car, because a screenplay used to be a blueprint to make a movie. So if someone gives you a blueprint, it's not fun to look at. It's got technical directions on so the building that you make doesn't fall over, or the car you build is safe to drive. So it's a technical document. Or they could give you a beautiful fancy picture of this flashy car or this nice brand new building and say, here, engineers, we're going to give you this picture because it's more pleasing to look at. This artist's rendition. Instead of the blueprints, we're going to give you this pretty picture because it looks good. Now, here's the picture. It looks good. You feel you're pleased. Now go make the car or the building. And if they made a technical, like a car or a building from just an artist's picture, then there's no way in hell I'm going inside of that building or that car, because it's going to fall over. And that's kind of, it's an oversimplification, but that's kind of, in my opinion, what happens with most movies. Now, it's the screenplays are made to be a little too much like an artist's rendition rather than a technical document. It's like they're skipping a step. You know, some people will say, well, you have to make it pleasing in order to get past the gatekeepers, which is true, and that's unfortunate. But then there has to be another step where they go back into and make it a real technical document so that the house or the story that you build actually stands up. And that's kind of what's missing. And unfortunately, I think it's because the readers, you know, nobody wants to read. In my opinion, I'm like, if you really don't like reading screenplays, and you probably don't, because, you know, it's not supposed to be that fun, then you should just go get a different job. It's, you know, most people, especially that came along around my time, you know, you did that job as an entry level. You know, it was a grunt position. You did it, you learned, and while you were doing it, you figured out what you really wanted to do, right? So that you could move on to something else. It's not the type of position, you know, anybody who stays in that position is probably going to become a bitter, and they're going to hate reading screenplays. But I guess I talked enough, because I'm going to play this, and it's going to, some of you put off by how unmovie like it sounds. Because I'm not an actor. I'm not going to read it like all dramatically, because a good actor can, you know, make it sound better. I'm just going to let the little final draft guy read it, and I like to use that as a tool when I edit stuff, because if sometimes a good actor can hide problems for you, but if you just let the digital voice read it, and it all sounds like crap, kind of, then, and if it's tolerable, then maybe it's okay. Like when an actor really does it, as opposed to an actor makes your lower quality work seem better than it actually is, and you don't take the time to really make it better. So, you know, there's a time and a place for everything, but in early stages, I like to just use the digital voice, let it read it, and later on, you know, I like to see what actors will do with it, you know, an actual human reader. But for this, I'm just gonna let it play, and we're gonna see what happens, and we're gonna see if we can fix this opening scene here.
Palo Alto Horse Track, Day, Super, Palo Alto, car 1878. The racetrack and stands are empty, except for two white men watch a racehorse jockeyed by a black man run toward 12 old-time box cameras set up along the track. Narrator, VO. The first moving picture, or movie, as they came to be known, was first discovered when former governor of California, Leland Stanford, solicited the services of English photographer Eadweard Muybridge to answer a burning question. Racehorse gallops in slow motion, muscles rippling, mane whipping, a glorious specimen of speed and power. Narrator. At any point in a horse's gallop, are all four hooves completely off the ground at the same time? A series of still cameras was set up, each rigged to snap a photo when the horse ran past. Flashbulbs pop sequentially as the horse runs past, triggering each camera. A hand flips through printed stills of the horse in rapid succession, creating illusion of motion. Insert public domain film clip. Moving horse, 1878. Narrator, VO. Upon viewing the still photographs in rapid succession, an illusion made it appear like the horse was running, and the motion picture was born. Horse galloping sound, thunderous. Narrator. In all the years since that fateful day, one thing in motion picture history has remained true. Galloping sound. Fades to sweet roar of V8 engine. Freeze frame. Running horse photo. Match cut. Running horse photo. Ford Mustang running horse emblem. Narrator. VO. No moving image is more majestic than a stallion in full gallop. Beat. Run. Wild horse. Run. Exterior I-10 highway. Day. Vroom. A Mustang Interceptor blasts down the highway. Muscular. Fast. And oh so glorious. Red and blue flashes blaze as the Mustang speeds toward, establishing New Orleans skyline. Day. Music up. Bass heavy. Hard charging song. Something light. Short change hero. By the heavy. Full stop. This ain't no place for no hero. To call home.
Okay. Now you see how dry and non-dramatic it sounds when you listen to the the automated final draft computer dude. Now I could run it through 11 labs, which I probably will do, but at this point it wouldn't matter because I want to we're gonna see if we can spruce it up a bit first. So why run it through 11 labs before we even work on it a little bit? So okay, let's go back. Beginning of this scene. Okay, these images are obviously, these are just screenshots. They wouldn't likely be in the final script. These are like placeholders. People, you see something, you have an image, an idea, you throw it in there. This is a working draft. So this is just to give you an idea, like, or if you're writing something, and I mean, people who are writing today have it so much easier. You can just screenshot something and throw it in your script. Back in the day, we couldn't do that. So let's see where we're gonna start. When we sit in like a movie theater, and the opening image, it's like a handshake, right? It's like with the audience. It's like saying, you're trying to put them at ease. Like, okay, you paid your money to come to this theater. The film or the movie promises to deliver something entertaining to you, hopefully. And so you want to start off on it with an image that is somewhat intriguing, but it's kind of like calming, and it wants, well, not calming, but it shows that the audience is in good hands, a storyteller that's in control of the story. So let's see if we're doing that with this opening. You never know who's watching your videos, but most people know have read a screenplay at least once. And the EXT, that stands for exterior outside, and then the place, Palo Alto horse racetrack, and the time of day, like in terms of the lighting and whether it's day light or night. A lot of times it has to do to tell you, it's more of a technical thing, like, are you going to need external lights or is it going to be daylight? But you can also get more specific, like dusk and all that stuff. But anyway, you have your scene heading, and then at the beginning, usually there's some words, or a lot of times it's words or something that you don't usually see all the time. So in this case, it's super is short for superimposed. So you would see these words on the screen: Palo Alto, California, 1878. So that's the only thing you would see. All of this other stuff would be invisible, or it wouldn't be part of the movie, or what would be on screen. So that's the thing about us reading screenplays. So much of what you read will never be on the screen, and that's what makes it kind of a slog to read. That's one of the things that makes it a slog to read. But anyway, I can picture the image. Palo Alto horse track in 1878. That's Palo Alto at Stanford University. And as this guy, Leland Stanford, I guess that's likely where the the university is named after, and he was I guess a former governor of California. So this opening with the narrator, when I hear narrator, I'm thinking, okay, they're probably picturing someone like a Morgan Freeman, a slow, not that slow, but that type of deliberate narration. So how can we? It's obvious what scene that they're describing, or we're describing here. It's the first moving horse, 1878. The image, the film clip. As it goes, I don't know if you probably know the story, but the two guys, they had a bet. They were wondering if at any point during a horse's gallop, if all four legs or feet or hooves were off the ground at the same time. And so the guy, Eadweard Muybridge, whatever, he set up a bunch of cameras. The horse runs by, the cameras, each still camera, back in 1878, snaps a picture, click, 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 click. And then they took the pictures and put the still pictures together and flipped through them, and it appeared that the horse, the feet, the legs were running, and they were like, oh, okay. And that's how the first moving image was discovered. Back when you were in grade school and you would write, you would draw those little stick figures on like a deck of Post-it notes or something that you could flip through, and you could do this. You did it when you probably, I don't know, and then you flip through, and then the little stick figures moving. Same principle, and supposedly that's the beginning of the film industry. So this opening image is like any kind of script reader or anybody who's in the industry will know that instantly what this writer is pointing out. And so it's not like super exciting, but it is a point of connection, and that's a good thing. Like I said, readers, they read hundreds if not thousands of scripts, and so you want to make a connection with them as soon as possible if you can in your story. And so it's kind of a cheat. Well, I wouldn't say a cheat, but by choosing this instance of, the beginning of motion pictures, anybody working in motion pictures is going to know exactly what you're talking about. So it's not a bad place to start, because again, you're making a connection with the reader. So they're like, okay, I know what this is. You know how when you're reading something and you think, oh, I know what this is. Let me see if I'm right about where they're going. So that's a way sometimes to drag to get people in. Two white men. You kind of have to explain that they're white, even though we know they're white because they're Leland and the other guy, the governor. But at this point in the story, the audience is not going to get this narration until it happens. So all they know is what they actually see. So if you say two white men, that's to set up the fact that the jockey is a black man, because otherwise you might assume, if you just say like a jockey, this is 1878, so there was a lot of black jockeys back then, but it's a dynamic that's important. It's something that people remember, the fact that it was a first person in the first movie was actually a black man, supposedly, if this is the first movie. So it's significant to call out the race in that case. But then this part of the narration is a lot of information, and I understand. It's because when you're writing, you have to get the information down. But then when you're rewriting, you can start to parse and take away some of that information, because some of it will be stuff you can see, like on the film, so you're not going to have to say it. But when you're writing it yourself, like when you're initially, you just go ahead and put all the information and the exposition. Just dump it, even though it's not good writing. Just dump it in there because it's a placeholder, and you can come back later, like we're doing now, and say, okay, it's an information dump. How can we make it sound like something an actor will come along and say, okay. Sometimes the actor will fix it for you, like if you get somebody good, but you can't count on that. So we have to do our due diligence and see if we can make it better. Old time camera boxes underlined. It gives you the image. You can kind of picture it, because I've seen that video before. I mean, not video, but the old time. You know, if you've studied any film or classes, you've seen it. See, the people are still entering the movie theater at this point, so they go into their seats and whatnot, and they tripping over people. Nobody's really paying attention, and the black people all coming in late. Well, actually, they probably haven't even left the house yet at this point. But anyway, I just went to the movies the other day. I get there on time because I like the previews. Because if I watch the previews, I don't have to watch those other movies because I saw the preview. And my people come walking in like half the movie be over and they be coming. Okay, so my point was the words did flash on the screen, 1878, but maybe we should put that date in the narration also, so that the people are walking in and they can hear it also. So let's see if we can do that. I don't know about burning. I think we'll keep it simpler. I mean, burning question it's more literary. I think something you would read in a book. I read or encountered that this guy was kind of, that's a good word for it. Yeah, because they were kind of, how those rich people, they get kind of weird. They do weird stuff. And today, people taking a bunch of pictures sounds pretty normal to us. But back then, setting up cameras, even having a camera was like a big deal. So probably to set up a whole bunch of cameras, one after another, was a bit of a, it wasn't like a small thing. Okay, so VO, voiceover, so we won't see the guy. We'll just have to imagine Morgan Freeman or somebody doing their thing. I'm not going to try and do it because it's not my thing. In a quick read, we're probably going to miss the jockey. When people are reading quickly. And it is kind of an important point historically, because this is an actual historical thing. So we're going to mention the jockey again, because otherwise it's just a racehorse, right? It's the difference between a racehorse and a oops. Jockey. Again, people are going to be skimming, and we want them to be able to pull out things that are going to be like images, because when the way your eye goes across the movie screen, it never, your subconscious takes in the whole thing, but your focus goes from this thing to that thing to this thing. So we're going to kind of simulate that a little bit in the text, or try to anyway. So we got the jockeyed racehorse. So we got the person on the horse, and it's the galloping, and it's in a slow motion. I think I want to put that on its own line. Excuse me. This is not a technical thing. It's just something I'm choosing to do. Just that sometimes you try to put things on a. It doesn't have to be on the next line, but it kind of helps people move down the page. And we're not going to call out like camera close on or camera zooms in or zooms out, because at this point we don't need to get that specific. And those are things usually the director's going to do whatever they envision anyway. But one way that we can influence the way people, the images that pop into their head when they're reading, is just by mentioning certain things. By say, fast car, spinning wheels, shiny engine, exhaust. You put your attention goes to those things, and your brain starts to put it together, like you would see the images on the screen. But so we got the horse. You know how the horse is like. I'm gonna take another little aside here. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Electric Horseman by oh goodness, Sid. Is it Sid? It'll come back to me. Starring Robert Redford and Jane Fonda. But at the end of that movie, and the horse is running, what he does is he steals a racehorse, a high-priced racehorse, and sets it free. And at the end of the movie, and the horse is running in slow motion, and you can see the muscles and stuff. That's like one of my favorite images I've ever seen on film. The whole movie's pretty good too, and it has one of the best chase scenes. It's like a car chase, except he's on a horse, and the police cars are on cars and motorcycles, and he's on a horse, and they're chasing him, and it's a good scene. But anyway, so yeah, I'm picturing that scene when I look at this. I see the muscles rippling, the hair whipping, because horses they're pretty fast. A glorious specimen of power. We kind of know that just by the images that we see, so I don't think we need that in there. But I'm just trying to get it all on one line here, because it's just a real small thing, but when you have those extra words and it's on one more line, it just slows the reader down a little bit. And we're only a quarter of a way down the first page, so we don't want to slow the reader down this soon. They haven't even agreed to stay with our story yet, because the story really hasn't started. This is just the opening image that we're on. So it's still voiceover, so we gotta put that in there. Flash will pop sequentially. Okay, I can picture that. See, one of the things to remember when we're screenwriting is, can we picture that? Not do we understand, because that's easy. I mean, you read a book, you understand. If you could read, you can understand. You can get the information. But with screenwriting, we always have to ask, can I picture this? Like, and if you can't picture it, then we need to work on it until we can picture it, because all it is moving pictures. We don't have the luxury of explaining things like we do in prose or fiction, or non-fiction for that matter. Another little thing, but sometimes gets big as you go along in your story or in your screenplay, is the word as or while or anything like this happens as something else happens, or this happens while something else happens. When you're initially writing something, that's fine, because you're just getting the information down. You just want to explain what happens, so that you can go back and rewrite. When you use like an as or a while, you're asking the reader to hold a couple of different actions in their brain, in their memory. It's fine. Most people, it's not a problem. But over the course of 120 pages, it becomes tiresome. Most things in a movie happen sequentially. Like, we're looking at this, then we're looking at that, then we're looking at this, then we're looking at that. We're not looking at this while that, or this, because we have to remember this image while we bring in this other image. On one level, that does happen in our brains, but when we're just reading and we're trying to go, it's a good rule to it's not a rule. You don't have to do it. Plenty of people do it differently. Okay. Camera went haywire on me. Well, where was I? Yeah, so what we're gonna do here is make it like this happens, then that happens, then that happens, so that it's not like this is happening while this is happening, because then we're asking people to remember like one thing while something else is happening, which is, you could do that, but we just want to make it fast and easy to keep moving down the page. So if we get the flash bulbs popping sequentially, get rid of that as. If you can, whenever, it's a good rule. I mean, I'm not saying don't ever use it, but if you can, every time you see while or as or something, try to break those into like, this happens, then this happens right after, or something like that. Okay, so we got the flash bulbs, pop, pop, pop. Then we see the horse running, and each camera's going pop, pop. We can picture that. Plus most of the people who work in the industry have already seen this movie. I mean, this film clip. It's just recall at this point. Caps and underline. It's kind of like, how, if you were the director, how would you film that, right? Boom. It tells you, they say don't direct on the page, blah, 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 whatever. But how else you going to film it, right? You see the hand flipping through the pictures. But you're kind of guiding the camera without saying close shot, medium shot, zoom in, zoom out, angle. You don't have to say all that. There's ways to still guide people's attention and the camera in their mind, so to speak. So you see the hand flipping through the pictures. Obviously, they're stills, so they've been printed, so we don't need all that. There's only a few people who are in the seats by now. Some of the people are only listening. Some of the people are catching glimpses between the people walking through the theater. So we're gonna talk a little more in this case. Still voiceover. because when the movie plays, none of this none of that's going to be on the screen. I mean, the actual flashbulbs will be on the screen, but none of these words are going to be on the screen. So what we want to do is kind of reinforce it. Screenplay is always about it, what you hear, or the movie is what you hear, what you see. So the written word is not there unless it's superimposed or text on the screen. One by one. Do we need both? Probably not. I mean, definitely not. But when the movie plays, this won't be there anyway. I'm going to leave both for now. We can if we need to shorten it, we can shorten it later. One by one, the cameras fire. This is just a pause, but the actors will probably ignore you and do what they do it their way, because they usually know better how it's going to play. But this is just to remind the reader that a certain type of narration, like again that Morgan Freeman type of slow and deliberate, I should say. Can't type on it because the keyboard's in the wrong place. I'm not this bad of a typist. I'm not that great, but I ain't this bad. All right, let's see. One by one, little repeat here. One thing about a screenplay, you're trying to communicate not directly to the audience. You're communicating to other artists, and you're trying to inspire them to do their thing, right? See, so an actor, when they see the one by one and then a beat and then a one by one, they're like, okay, this is gonna be like a moment, and they're gonna be inspired to do it their way, to make it. They're like, oh, this is one of those moments. Let me make this fly, make this dope. So they'll probably definitely will change some of it. One of the things about screenplays that I have noticed the change over the years is people are writing them to as if they're the actor, right? And they're trying to act out every part, as opposed to, because they're trying to entertain these readers, the script readers, rather than write to the script reader. I think we should be writing to other artists, the other visionaries. Script readers are usually people who don't really know shit. They're that's the lowest point on the totem pole. So to give them so much, it's supposed to be a tough job, is what I'm saying. And I think screenplays should be written to inspire other artists. You want to write to inspire directors or even producers or even other actors, like, ooh, they make them say, ooh, yeah, I see where I could do my thing there. May not be the best reading experience for the reader, but fuck the reader. They're a necessary evil. No, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. But they have influenced screenwriting a little too much, because they're not artists. You got to respect the other artists, the actors, the editors, the makeup artists, the people who actually create stuff. So screenplay should be not to entertain a fucking reader. It should be to inspire other artists, in my opinion. Now, there's a bunch of people who will disagree, and that's why most of the movies are shit, though. See? But anyway, that's just my opinion, and I'm nobody special. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, we put that little echo. That's like a call to the artist. they'll see that the actor, they'll be like, oh, okay, I could do my thing here at this point. And then we hit the hand flipping. You can kind of see it. Okay, public domain. We all know what that is. That means, you don't have to pay for the clip, so somebody can get the clip, and if you can get it, you can put it in your little, in your movie for free. That's good. It's only a couple 100 years old, or not even 200 yet, but it's old enough. Reading this makes perfect sense, but the people in the audience aren't going to read it. They're going to be doing stuff in the theater at this point, right? Walking to their seats, dropping their popcorn, spilling their soda, trying to get settled in. So they're going to listen. They're going to probably listen to it if they hear it at all. So again, with narration, we want something that's shorter sentences. It's just like something simple and short. So where's the last word? Let's see. That insert shot should come sooner. Upon viewing, that sounds like directions to a manual or something, but we're gonna make it a little simpler because it's something. It's a spoken word thing. Was it miraculous? Of course it was miraculous. It started the whole film industry. Miraculous. Amazing. I don't know. Something profound. Something important. I don't know. It's miraculous. If I were editing, I would go back to obviously the hand flips to the still pictures. But I'm not gonna everybody, they get the point, so the moving image or the motion picture. We're going to say the moving image. And I'm using this mechanical keyboard. It's a red switch, which means all I have to do is blow on it and the shit types. I should have got probably the brown switch, but I said, I'm writing a novel right now also. And I said, I told myself, I'm going to write that shit fast. So I got the red switches because they're supposed to be the fastest. But I can't type fast enough for this. It's like having a car that goes faster than you could drive. And so I make a lot of mistakes because I can't type that fast. But as fast as this keyboard goes, this is a fast fucking keyboard. And in that moment, the moving image was born. Just that simple. Horses. I think that's okay for now. Again, this is just one draft. We're gonna go back and fix it again. We got the horsey galloping. It fades to the roar, sweet roar of a V8 engine. Now see, I could picture this because I've been listening to V8 engines since I was a little boy. My father used to take me to the racetrack, and now when I look back, I was way too little to be, because they didn't do the whole like they do now. What they had the earphones for the kids when they're in the crowds and stuff. But yeah, he used to take me because my father used to race cars and stuff. But yeah, I can definitely picture that sound, and it is one of my favorite sounds. Okay, I'm going to make another image of these. I'm just going to combine these images again in a final script that would be submitted somewhere. These images wouldn't be in there, but I like the reference point. It's a reminder. So writing can sometimes be kind of tedious and stuff, and sometimes you need a reminder that you're doing something that has a correlation to the real, to something exciting or something, So I'm gonna cut here, and I'm gonna paste these together and come back and see what we end up with. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, we're back again. Played with those images a little bit, and again, in most screenplays, you're not gonna have any images if you're submitting it to these companies and stuff. But some of us are not. We aren't writing for the industry anymore, trying to submit stuff. So you can do what we can do. You can do whatever you want, but you don't have to leave me a bunch of comments telling me how it looks amateurish if there's images in the screenplay, because that was something that was drilled into us back in the 90s, 2000s, whatever. But nowadays, who knows? Maybe it's more acceptable. But for your working draft, which is what I'm doing here, and the fact that, especially when I'm making a video, having images, it's more visual. It helps a little bit, just in terms of having something to look at, other than just black text on a white page. But yeah, so when you make your screenplay and you want to submit it to all these companies and whatnot, don't put a bunch of images in there and say you saw it. Not on my channel anyway. It's just for fun, just for educational purposes. The images just add something. Otherwise, it's just text. But yeah, so when you do your script, follow whatever the normal process is at the time, because things change so quickly. Anyway, so yeah, there's going to be these images that I'm sharing, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. So we played the automated voice of the script at the beginning, and now we made a few changes. We're not at the point where it's like ready to go, but we made a few changes, and let's listen to it again and take what we can get from it and leave what's of no use, right? The best picture actor, the best actor of the year, Daniel voice on Final Draft 13. Here we go.
Horse track, day, super, Palo Alto, car 1878. The racetrack is empty, except for two white men watch a racehorse jockeyed by a black man run toward 12 old-time box cameras set up along the track. Narrator, VO. In 1878, former California Governor Leland Stanford asked a simple question. He hired an eccentric English photographer named Muybridge to find the answer. Jockeyed racehorse gallops in slow motion, muscles ripple. Mane whips. A specimen of speed and power. Narrator, VO. At any point in a horse's gallop, are all four hooves completely off the ground at the same time? Muybridge set up a series of still cameras, each rigged to snap a photo when the horse ran past. Insert public domain film clip. Moving horse, 1878. Flashbulbs pop sequentially, running horse triggers each camera. Narrator, VO. One by one, the cameras fired. Beat. One by one, their images told their story. A hand flips through stills of the horse in rapid succession. Narrator, VO. And when flipped through fast enough. Beat. Something miraculous happened. Horse photos flip rapidly, creating illusion of motion. Narrator, VO. The horse appeared to run, and in that moment the moving image was born. Horse galloping sound. Thunderous. Narrator. In all the years since that fateful day, one truth remains from the very beginning. Freeze frame. Running horse photo. Narrator, VO. No image in all of motion picture history is more primal, more powerful, more perfect, than a beautiful horse and the way she runs. Horse photo becomes Ford Mustang running horse emblem. Galloping sound fades to roar of V8 engine. Vroom. Narrator, VO. Run. Wild horse. Run. Music up. Bass heavy. Hard charging song. Something like Short Change Hero by The Heavy. Full stop. This ain't no place for no hero to call home. Exterior I-10 highway. Day. Mustang Interceptor blasts down the highway. Muscular. Fast. Majestic. Red-blue flashes blaze. Speeding toward establishing New Orleans skyline.
Okay, so couple of things that we played with here from the first. Nothing wrong with a little alliteration, right? Now, is this going to end up in the final version? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But when we say like primal, powerful and perfect, yeah, those things engender certain images, and we know, we can picture that powerful horse, but it also does something else. And I spoke about it earlier, about a screenplay speaks to other artists. Now, when an actor sees this, they're gonna say, okay, I gotta do something here, because they see the alliteration, and they know this is a moment. This is a cinematic moment for them to do something special, right? The same thing with a director would see that, and it inspires. See, that's the thing that is often missing from today's screenplays, in my opinion, is they're writing to the readers instead of. But a screenplay is not meant to, in its final form, it's not meant to be read. It's meant to be interpreted by other artists and then performed, right? So you could write to the audience, the reader, which is some low-level person on, who's just in the way of your work, progressing, or you could write to other artists, right? Because that's where it's supposed to go and be interpreted under the best circumstances, rather than being crapped on by readers who are oftentimes. See, when I was trained as a reader back in the 90s, we were taught that you may not like a story, but you need to be able to recognize, okay, so this could be a good movie, but it's not my type of movie. I wouldn't watch it, but that's my job, is to find successful movies, not just movies that I like. But today, the readers are like, it's just all about, it's me. I don't like it. It doesn't appeal to me. Me. They can't get beyond the self. They can't put their ego aside. A lot of them, not all of them. But anyway, we just made a few changes, and that's for this particular draft and it's not at the point where it's ready to be like submitted for anything or anything like that. But this is something that's interesting. This image. Now I know everybody hates AI, blah 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 blah. I get it, but this was telling to me, because what I did is I took AI and I cut and pasted from this text here, this script here, and I told AI to create a scene that embodies the exact cut and pasted text from the script, and it came up with this image. And for them to come up with something so close to the text here, the Mustang, I'll play it from here.
Mustang Interceptor blasts down the highway.
Well, let's start with I-10, Interstate 10, right? That's telling you that we're outdoors, exterior, Interstate 10 on the highway, day. Boom. The AI put us there. I mean, I know people don't like AI. I get it, but as a tool, think about this.
Exterior I-10 highway, day. Mustang Interceptor blasts down the highway. Muscular, fast, majestic. Red-blue flashes blaze. Speeding toward. Establishing New Orleans skyline, day.
Boom. I mean, and this is what AI did with that. So what this tells me, and how quickly things are progressing, the next evolution of screenwriting, I think, is going to be, a screenwriter is not going to be so much a writer as they are a prompter, because the screenplay is going to be, instead of just a 120-page document for a script, some of them are going to be used for to be a 120-page AI prompt. I mean, if they can get this close, just that, doing it in a few seconds, and this is just a still, they have them that are making actual moving images. Now, I'm not a proponent of AI. I don't, sure, I would prefer to make movies too, but the only thing Hollywood has told me since about 2000 or so, 2002, I guess, is no. I'm one of those people who were excluded. So I'm like, well, does that mean you don't get to tell your stories, or do you have to just find another way to tell them? Your first choice would be, hey, I want to make a Hollywood movie too. Shit, just like everybody else. But I do have a story. But if I have a story to tell, and Hollywood tells you no for 20, 30 years, what would you do? I'm not a proponent. I'm not promoting AI, but I'm just saying, as quickly as it's developing and how quickly it's able to spit out images like that, it won't be so much about who you know and how much money you have access to. It might just be who has a better story to tell. Wouldn't that be different, right? One of the traps that we can fall into when we're screenwriting is the tendency to focus on conveying information rather than creating an experience, right? Because when we're writing, the whole idea of writing is to convey or share information with the reader. But when it comes to screenwriting, with every scene, we should be able to look at that scene and ask and answer, hopefully, what experience am I trying to create with this scene? And if there's no clear intention, then that scene is going to need work. For every scene that in our screenplay, we should be able to answer the question, what is the experience that I'm trying to create with this scene? And if we just look at that one opening scene, we ask, okay, so what is the experience we're trying to create? Are we trying to convey information or an experience, or create an experience? The whole information, the little history lesson about the running horse and the history of film, the first moving image, that information is probably known by most of the people who would read the script, or so they already know that information. So that's not the focus. We're not trying to convey that history lesson. The focus is, let's give the reader or the audience something familiar. That instance of the horse running by the cameras, which is part of the experience. It's a recall. We're touching on their memory, right? So the experience is they're settling into something familiar. Okay, I remember that. I remember that instance with the horse and the cameras, and from there, we're moving them to modern day, present day, equating the horse to a fast car or a Mustang, which represents basically a horse. So the experience, hopefully, is to go from the beginning, the history of the moving image, and that's kind of just to get the audience to settle in and say, okay, this is something I know, something that I'm familiar with, and then take them to hit them with the high-speed car chase, which is also something that people are familiar with. It's not about teaching people about the history of film. People who would read the script would know. And so it's not about conveying information, it's about the experience. From there, what we're wanting them to hopefully think is, okay, I'm in the seat, I'm gonna buckle my seatbelt, and I'm gonna turn the fucking page to find out what's next. That's what we want for the opening experience. However, we also know that a lot of people don't like those types of movies. The action, the fast car movies, a lot of people don't like those types of movies. So we're actually pushing those people away and pulling in the people that type of story or that type of movie is appealing to. Because initially you might think you want everybody to want to see your movie. And, I mean, you might want that, but in reality, that's never going to happen. So there's always going to be people who don't like the type of movie you're trying to create. So best case scenario is push those people away and pull in your intended audience. So like I mentioned earlier, it's not just writing for a reader's pleasure. Hopefully it's a call to like filmmakers who are passionate about, who want to tell the same type of story. It's a call to like a filmmaker who is also passionate about shooting lots of motion, high speed, someone who can appreciate the artistry of filming something simple like a running horse, but film it in a way that's elevated, and then take that concept to shooting a car, as opposed to somebody who would just turn on the camera and have a Mustang drive by. So the script is actually a call out to certain types of people who are also passionate in the same way about some of the same things. Again, it's like writing to inspire other artists as opposed to entertain a reader only. So we're not changing the whole process of screenwriting in order to please some script reader reading for some BS contest that really doesn't matter anyway. We want to reach other creatives, and you can do that through specific experience. What you don't want to do is be sort of middle of the road where people aren't really sure what they're signing up for or what kind of story it's going to be. Because especially in this day and age, middle of the road early on is the worst place you want to be, because there are so many choices in terms of people's attention. Whether or not this little scene creates that intended experience, that's not really important at this point, because it's something that's being worked on. The fact that we have the clear intention, that's the important thing, because that's something that you can always work toward. When you don't have a clear intention in your writing and it feels kind of wishy-washy, you're going to lose your reader right away. So clear intention of so you can go through every scene in your screenplay and say, okay, this scene, it's not about the information. I mean, the information is going to be, you're going to have information, obviously, to convey. But with a screenplay, if you start with the experience that you want to convey and use the information to convey that experience. So you can go through every scene, right? And if you're not sure, then you need to work on that part. You may not be where you intend to be, but as long as you have a clear intention, you can keep getting closer with each successive draft. If you use AI to test whether or not it can spit out an image of that scene that's close to what you had envisioned, then you're on the right track. As a tool, that's all AI is in my mind. It's never going to be able to write something because it doesn't have the ability to connect to something higher, right? Just can't do it. It can only respond to what you give it. So, it's never going to replace real writers. I mean, what it can do, it's a tool that can be helpful if you use it in the right way. If you think it's going to write for you, it's not going to do that. And if you ever tried to do it that way, it's like, what's the point, right? Because the whole idea of writing is to express what's inside of you. So does this opening scene achieve the goal of the experience to get people excited about an action, fast car action movie? Well, who knows? But we have a clear intention. This final draft automated reader is horrible. So if you're just listening to that, chances are you're thinking, this doesn't sound very good. But maybe I'll run it through 11 Labs or let an actual actor read it, and you can see the difference. Maybe we may have more work to do, but we do have a clear intention, and that's what's important about. It's not just the information. The information is secondary when it comes to a screenplay, usually. Well, hopefully, it's about the experience. That's why people go to the movies, for the experience, right? If you just want information, all you have to do is Google or whatever else, the information is at everybody's fingertips now. That's different from the way it used to be. But nobody's going, I got to go to the movies to get some information. They're going for the experience. Some of us aren't talented enough or lucky enough to work in Hollywood. And so I guess we just teach or consult or whatever else. That's okay. You just do what you can do. We know how much people hate AI, but as a tool, if your screenplays, you could test your own writing and your own screenplay using AI, not by submitting or putting the whole script in AI and telling them to fix your writing. Cut and paste part of cut and paste one of your scenes into AI and use the prompt, create a picture that embodies this scene. That's the prompt that I used to get that photo. And if you do that and you're getting an image that is like totally not what you envisioned when you were writing, that you may need to work on your visual storytelling. A lot of times it's the order that the syntax that you're describing things that can sometimes confuse. If it confuses AI, it's going to probably confuse other people. But yeah, go from scene to scene and tell AI to create a picture that embodies that scene. And if it's getting close, then your script is probably getting close. And at least the words you're writing are visual, right? And it's maybe hopefully getting close to what you pictured in your head. So it could be used as a pretty good tool. So I don't need to hear all the comments about AI is stealing and blah, 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 blah. You could use it as a tool to improve your human created writing, just like spell check and all those other tools that we use, typewriters and computers and word processors, just tools. So sometimes we get a little too sensitive, I think. Anyway, I guess that's enough for this episode. I can continue this if people want to see as we go through this rewrite with this project here. I'm trying to tighten it for this current draft. I don't know what I'll call the segment. I guess I could call it rewriting with Marlon, rewriting with Mar, rewriting with Money Mar. I don't know. Or maybe this will just be a one-off video. Who knows? It'll depend on, I guess, on the response. So leave me a comment if you have something to say, or you just want to talk about writing or stories or whatever else. Leave me a comment. I'll continue this. Current draft of this script by this person is at 152 pages. So we got a little bit of content to go, because you got to cut like 30 pages out of this. 40 pages probably. It's a lot of work. That's it for now. Hit me up for a story consult on Zoom. 30-minute consults. Still open. Yeah, hit me up on StoryRay.com. I hope to see you there. Hope to read your comments. All right, later for now.
All screenplay material is the property of StoryRay LLC. Unauthorized use or reproduction is prohibited.